start. July 14th, I'm going to call the meeting, June 14th, 2023. Call the meeting to order. Roll call vote. Tina is on vacation, I believe, and Mr. Chaplin is gone as well. Attest to publication. Thank you, Joni. Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
I second.
Was that Joni? Motion by Lori, seconded by Joni to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. District mission, vision, and values and Board of Education collective commitments. Kelly?
Mission, Bangor Pride, a small school building big futures. Vision, an innovative small school creating excellence through personalized learning and relationships for all. Values, student-centered, small class sizes, continuous improvement, professionalism, opportunities, foster community, sustainability. Board of Education collective commitments. As a member of the Bangor School Board, I will be an active listener who is open-minded, respectful, and inquisitive. Together, with one collective voice, we are committed to forward thinking while strategically prioritizing for our students, staff, and community now and into the future.
Thank you, Kelly. Public comment? None? Moving on, approval of the minutes from May 10th.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the regular meeting on May 10th.
That includes the closed session as well.
That
They're
includes
together.
the closed session as well.
So open and closed session.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lori to approve the open and closed session for May 10th, 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll abstain, Julie.
Shelley abstained. Thank you. Committee reports. Policy Review Committee.
I'm just going to turn it over but we did meet on May 24th to discuss a number of the policy revisions that are up later in the meeting. We had some really good conversations that evening. Joni, is there anything you want to point out, or do you want to do it when we get to the policies?
Nothing really to point out. Every time we do these, I thank God for Neola, because without them, I don't know how we could ever, navigate this as well as we can. So, and we welcomed Kelly to the committee, so that was nice. Back to 3 people. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Policy Review Committee. We'll review or discuss more later. District financials, the financial documents.
Angie and I had no questions that came in on these. If there are no questions, we just look for approval of the financials for the month.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
I'll second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lisa to approve the financial documents as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. District reports, facility projects update.
Yeah, I just want to give a couple of quick updates. One, thank you to all of you that were able to attend the groundbreaking ceremony. I think it was a really neat opportunity for our kids and our community to kind of be a part of and see the next step. The whole presentation was really looking at the past, kind of the present, and how we're planning and looking into the future. And it was good to look out and see the future looking back at us from the blacktop that's really going to benefit from these projects for many years to come. So that was exciting. Thanks for the community support on that as well. The last month of design and work with Nexus has been primarily on buttoning up the elementary school designs. The bid packages were released on June 6th. Bids are due back by July 11th. Next Tuesday, there's actually like a open house, if you will, in the afternoon for contractors to come in, chat with Nexus, actually walk through the building, kind of get some site ideas more than they can get it just from the plans. So that'll be exciting to see who else will be there that day. We have heard quite a bit of talk that there's some good action out there getting numbers for us. So that competitiveness is good when it comes to that bidding process. We will see those bids come back. The bids come back on July 11th at 4:00 is when they're due. Nexus will take those, work with those, and we will prepare. I'll work with Nexus. We'll prepare for July 17th. That Monday night, we'll have a board study session where we can really look at all of the proposals that have come in, all of the bids that have come in. And then July 19th, we would be looking for board action to accept the bids and select the contractors so that we can get going. So hopefully you're all able to make it on the 17th, because I think that'll be an important night for asking lots of questions of the Nexus team. And then the board meeting will be just being able to get things approved that we kind of have already had a chance to really review and interrogate on the 17th. Yes.
David, just to clarify, July 17th, Monday at 5:30 p.m.
Yep.
Where will we meet?
Library
Thank you.
in this building. Yep.
That is before our next month's meeting, so I just wanted to verbally remind everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. And then once those are approved on the 19th, construction set to begin right around that July 31st time. We expect trailers and fencing and all of that stuff to start arriving even yet that week after the July 19th meeting, once we've got some clarity on who's coming in and what it's going to look like. On the middle school and high school design size, we're likely coming back in July with that full summary like we've done, where we've got lots of pictures and everything up there. I would expect in the next couple weeks some of the pictures of where we are right now. We really kind of got away from the middle school, high school as we were focusing in on finishing the elementary school. So we'll bring those things back. I think all in all, the middle school, high school is a lot more straightforward. The elementary school was fairly complex. We're touching everything for this. It's just some specific areas. So making this process go a little bit easier here. We did have a good meeting this past week with Adam Kradevelt and the design team looking at his tech ed space, came up with some really, really great ideas. We are actually going to look to use some Title IV funds probably in the next week or so. I'll send you an email and kind of update you on that, to purchase the second lift that will go in the new addition with those title funds before we lose them, basically, so that we can get that and have that ready for that, which just frees up more money for other things in the project. So I'll send out a summary on that to the board once we've got that finalized. But that's pretty exciting as that space comes together there. We had two great tours last week with two manufacturers on the weight room equipment. Got a chance to kind of see a factory in action building them. We got a chance to see a couple of amazing showrooms, pretty amazing campus tour at UW-Madison to see the equipment, see it being used by students down there. Just really some great stuff. I would say we have two really great options, and their final submissions will be to me within the next week or so, and I will share those out with you along with what we're recommending to go forward with for those projects. Again, that was portion, the weight room equipment is something that we had said had agreed with Nexus from the beginning that we would pull out and we would do the work versus them finding us the vendor and all those types of things. So we're getting very close on that. We'll keep you updated on that. Very exciting. There's an interiors meeting tomorrow for the middle school, high school, looking at the colors and materials, designs for the new display area, those types of things. Again, likely a lot of the same colors and materials that we used at the elementary will carry over, so that should make that process go pretty smoothly here for us. And again, once we get through that meeting, I would expect in the coming next week or two for sure a number of emails where you're starting to see some of those designs, getting some feedback, so that when we come back to you in July with kind of that, I don't know what point we'll be at, probably that 50%-ish that we got to with the elementary school. Kind of this is pretty close, so the engineers can get in there and get all their work done. you'll have seen it before we get to that point. So we'll make sure that those things are out to you. Any questions or anything on the referendum projects? That's a lot, and along with finishing up the end of the school year that we've been very busy with, but I think things are going really well.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. District action agenda, policy updates.
Yeah, so the first group is in that policy for board review folder. Includes a number of policies all listed here in volume 32 number 1 of reviews. We went through these as a team. Again, Neola does a great job of kind of giving us some good framework on what we need to be looking at, some suggestions. Sometimes it's some check boxes of how many of these things do you want to check. We find that because of our size, we often have to edit because we don't have a superintendent and a curriculum instruction director and a principal and all those different positions that sometimes, so a lot of that check marks come in there. But basically, it was fairly straightforward, this group. We've got a couple more that we're doing some final edits on before we bring them back to you from those conversations. So if there's questions, Joni or Lisa, I could probably help, or Kelly can help. Otherwise, we'd look for a motion to approve those updates.
If there's no questions, I would make a motion to approve policy updates in Neola Update Volume 32, Number 1, with the exception of the new policy that requires a first and second reading.
I'll second that.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Shelley to approve policy updates in Neola Update Volume 32, Number 1. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New policy, first reading.
Yeah, so this one, I actually put the whole policy in the notes there for us. This is the one that will need 2 readings. So this is the first reading tonight about patriotic activities and observances, a legal suggestion from Neola. So we'd look for a motion tonight on this, and then we'll bring it back next month for a second look.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of the board policy 8802 on patriotic activities and observances.
I second.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Kelly to approve the first reading of board policy 8802 on patriotic activities and observances. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 23-24 High School Course Handbook.
I will take that one. Thank you. Just some updates in there. The first one is on page 9 about course requirements, and you should have gotten the copy with the yellow highlights in there. And basically what we do is for all of our ECCP classes and Start College Now, if students don't pass those classes, their families are responsible to pay for them. We already had that language in policy, but we didn't have it for our Health Science Academy and any of our other areas. So we just updated that to be in line with the others. We had a student that was close this year on one of those areas, and I went back and looked at policy. Hannah and I did, Hannah Schultz, the counselor, and wasn't in there. So we wanted to make sure that because what's happened is they've loosened the requirements for students to take some of these things, and the district pays for them. So we just want to make sure that, students are doing their best to pass them, and that the district's not accountable for the dollars if they don't pass. The exception would be credit recovery, which is through our Edgenuity platform, which we pay for here in that area. The other ones are course updates. We have some new teachers, as you know. We'll add a few more tonight. But like Amy Olson, our art teacher, changed a little bit of one of her classes called 3D Design, then updated that. She had a couple of different ones. Sadie, one that I'm really happy to see is a life skills one, more or less. And then from our face department, and then Brooke Luke actually has a couple new ones on the health and wellness as well, self-care, and I'm sure you read all of them. But anyway, so really it's just some updates to some of our courses in there that our students, and we've had a lot of interest in those classes already, which is nice. So,
Anything else?
no, it's just those updates in there. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I would look to approve that course handbook.
I'll move to approve the 2023-2024 high school course handbook as shown with the revisions.
I'll second.
Lisa?
Yep.
Is that-
Yep.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa to approve the 2023-2024 high school course handbook. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Personnel?
I'll take the first one. We have the resignation of one of our paraprofessionals. Jared Ambrose was with us for half a year, did a great job, but he has been accepted to UWL to go to school there. And I knew that was in the works for him. He's pursuing his four-year degree, wants to get into sports management. He's actually coaching football there as well as an assistant. So he submitted his resignation, which is not a surprise to me. He did a great job. I wish we could get him back. He said he'd hopefully sub for us if he has room in his schedule.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of special education paraprofessional Jared Ambrose effective at the end of the 22-23 school year.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Shelley to approve the resignation of special education paraprofessional Jared Ambrose effective at the end of the 22-23 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
It's like popcorn here in the personnel. The second retirement is for bus driver Diane Rasmussen. Diane has driven for the school district for 23 years. For the last number of years, she's driven the Lyft bus, primarily back and forth to West Salem with some of our special needs students in it. She's done a great job for us for a lot of years. We'll miss her and wish her the best in her retirement, but looking for the approval of that retirement tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the retirement of Diane Rasmussen as bus driver from the Bangor School District effective June 2nd of 23.
Second.
Who was that?
Joni.
Joni, sorry. Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Joni to approve the retirement of Diane Rasmussen as bus driver from the Bangor School District effective June 2nd, 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We have an unfortunate resignation here. One of the guys that we have just been able to count on and just being steady in our maintenance department, our custodial department, has been Norm. Been here for most of our meetings throughout the 2 years that I've been here. And he has accepted a different position, works out a little bit better for he and his family. So we wish him the best in those future endeavors. He's finishing up with us on the 19th. So, again, looking for a motion to approve the resignation of Norm Gady.
I'll move to approve the resignation of Norm Gady as building custodian effective June 19th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa to approve the resignation of Norm Gady as building custodian effective June 19, 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll take the next one. Asking for approval of the resignation of Amy Close from middle school ELA. I have been fortunate enough to work with her for 23 years. She is pursuing options outside of K-12 education. She and I had talked about this a couple of years ago, so it wasn't a total surprise by any means. I appreciate what she's done for the district, and I wish her well in her future endeavors as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of middle school English teacher Amy Close effective at the end of the 2022-2023 school year.
Second.
Motion by Shelley, seconded by Kelly to approve the resignation of middle school English teacher Amy Close effective at the end of the 22-23 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next, looking for approval of the resignation of our high school math teacher, Emily Schmitz. She has been teaching here for 12 years. I did talk to her today. She stopped in. She also was a student of mine. So in 1999, 2000, and 2001, and she was a valedictorian from Bangor. So special person on staff for sure. She is pursuing options outside of K-12 education as well for various reasons, and obviously I wish her extremely well in her next endeavor as well. And she's done a lot for our district, just as Amy has as well, and will sorely be missed.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignation of Emily Schmitz as the middle school, high school math teacher effective at the end of the 23-24 school year.
Is that correct?
Is that correct?
No, 22-23, sorry.
That's what it
Oh,
says here.
yeah.
That is what it says. Yeah.
Sorry, 22-23. Can't you stay another year? I was trying. Tried, Rick.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Joni, to approve the resignation of Emily Schmitz as middle school, high school math teacher effective at the end of the 2022-2023 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain. Next one, athletic director.
So we've had Paul Laxton working for us for the last 2 years as athletic director, as he has been a teacher in the Holman School District, and he's done a great job for us. We appreciate his service to the district, but he is retiring from his teaching position, retiring from his athletic director position as of the June 6th. His last event was the baseball sectional baseball game. So effective June 6th for Paul Laxton.
I'll make a motion to approve the retirement of middle school, high school athletic director Paul Axton, effective June 6, 2023.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Shelley, to approve the retirement of middle high school athletic director Paul Laxton effective June 6, 2023. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, now we're going to hire.
All right,
Oh,
let's
it's
get
Mike's
this going.
turn.
Great. So yeah, we're bringing up Sharon Nikolai tonight for hire in our 4K position. Sharon comes to us from Iowa, and we had 10 apps for that position, 6 interviewed, and honestly, it was loaded with talent. And Sharon really sold herself, her skill set, 5 years experience in 4K. She has a special education background in Iowa as well. Talking to her supervisors, it was pretty blatant that I think the comment was, this is the best 4K teacher I've ever worked with in my career. You better hire her. And so that just validated kind of what we saw during the process. I offered her to Zoom the interview because she is living and she goes, no, I want to be there. I want to meet in person, which kind of sold me on the fact that she wanted to be here, see our community, see our facilities as well. And one of the questions during the interview process is always, why Bangor Elementary School type thing. And come to find out, she's from Stratford. And her boyfriend is in lacrosse, and she's looking forward to being closer to home. Not at home, but closer to home. So we're super excited. She's stopping in tomorrow to kind of see her room and things like that. And I look forward to bringing her on. Lisa Waldenberger is going to be her teammate and mentor. And I think it's just, I'm super excited. I think we just got better too. Melanie Brooks, who had that position, just moved to first grade to make those numbers a lot smaller. So super excited.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Sharon Nikolai as 4K teacher for the 2023-24 school year.
A second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly, to approve the hiring of Sharon Nikolai as a 4K teacher for the 2023-2024 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Well, here we are, a day that I didn't think would come. In 2 years, we have been looking for a speech and language pathologist. Megan actually applied through weekend and reached out about a month ago, and we brought her in for kind of a full morning of interview and tour and talk and all of those types of things. She comes to us from the Sparta School District, has about 7 years in the classroom and a few years before that in a clinical type setting. Absolutely outstanding. The team was impressed with her desire to be in Bangor and be a part of our staff and be a part of this culture was evident. So we are incredibly excited to bring that hire forward of Megan Coe for the speech and language position. I will say we have been incredibly fortunate to have two amazing women that have been splitting that position in part-time capacities. And because of the arrangement, the way that we have things worked out with them right now, we are optimistic that one or both will be able to stay on an hourly basis and do some of our off-site speech and maybe a little bit of consulting and stuff with Megan along the way as well. So they're two great ladies that have helped us out immensely. So thank you to both of them. But tonight we're looking for the approval of the hire of speech and language pathologist Megan Coe.
Go ahead, Shelley.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of speech and language teacher Megan Coe for the 23-24 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lori, to approve the hire of speech and language teacher Megan Coe for the 23-24 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Next, we are looking for approval of our new head high school track coach, Dan Rampitzreiter. He has coached at the middle school level the last 4 years. He's also going to be our head cross-country coach this fall, as you know. And since I'm now the acting athletic director, we have a couple other applicants for the assistant position. So if Dan is approved tonight, then he and I will start interviewing them next week and then hopefully bring those to you next month. But Dan has done a really good job with our middle school program. He was kind of the head of that, has a good background in track and field as well as in cross country. So he puts his heart and soul into what he does. So I have no qualms about hiring Dan. So I'm looking for approval for him.
Motion to approve the hire of Dan Rampenstrader as head track coach for the 2023-24 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa to approve the hire of Dan Rappinsreiter. I'm not saying his name right, am I?
No, that's right. You're good.
Pretty good.
As head track coach for the 23-24 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Next, we're seeking approval for high school math teacher Seth Coker. We actually interviewed today. Once I had Emily's resignation, we opened it up right away, knowing that this time of the year, the candidate pool goes down. We had two candidates. We interviewed both of them today, and I will say they were both really good candidates. The committee did go with Seth, who I think will do a great job. He's student taught here this spring, so a lot of familiarity. I actually was able to observe him multiple times teaching. I feel very comfortable with his skills. And what struck me about Seth, he comes from Athens, Wisconsin, which is a small school, and just the relationships he was building with students. I mean, he's very personable, and it said it reminds him of home. And he actually had taken a job somewhere else because nothing was open here. But previous to that, he came into my office and said, "Rick, I really don't want to take a job somewhere else. I want to work here." And I said, "Well, I don't have anything for you." So he had to call that other place of employment today and tell them he's resigning from there. But I think we got a really good one with Seth.
I'll make a motion to approve the hire of Seth Coker as middle school, high school math teacher for the 23-24 school year.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Lisa, seconded by Shelley, to approve the hire of Seth Coker as the middle high school math teacher for the 23-24 school year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Oh, let's see here. Administrative reports. We'll start with
I would just say if you want to
David.
read through Josh's, if you have any questions, we could answer those, but he wanted to leave some information for you there. I won't necessarily read all that to you. You've got that information. Then we'll turn it over to Mike and a little summer school report.
Thank
the
you.
world that is the end of the school year.
Mr. Mr.
Yeah.
Johnson.
So we've been working hard to get summer school up and running for Monday. I know it's at the end of the school year is always interesting in my world and in Miss Terry Kenyon's world, that you got 1 foot in the school year and you got 1 foot in summer, and then you got a toe dangling out there in next year already. So it's really just kind of an interesting way to process everything that's coming at you. A shout out to Terry. She has done an amazing job getting summer school. All the behind the scenes stuff that she takes care of. We work really well together. I appreciate everything that she does for this event, and actually everything that she does for the school, because she keeps me in line. Summer school's up and running. I had a meeting today with my staff and got all contracts out to everybody and signed. I think we're good. We are short this year on like a pair up or 2 position. Just people had conflicts this year, which happens. It'd be more comfortable if I had 1 or 2 more just to help in a number of different areas. But that is what it is. We're fully staffed in all of our classes. And we're up, I think we're really close to touching 240 students, which I think last year was 212, if I remember right. So we're busy and optimistic. I would think I reached out to WeCan to get 3 teachers from out of district to help us out, and they're excited. They were there today and just willing to share their time with us this summer. But yeah, we're up and ready to go. So we'll see how Monday goes. The bridge, I about had a heart attack when the bridge information came up, because just busing, like you don't really know what's going to come out of that. It's just those weird, and my wife's sitting there going, "What are you worried about?" I'm like, got to get the kids to her. So anyway, it'll all work out. We'll all be fine. But come Monday, we'll have everything going. So.
So do we need to approve the summer school list? No?
It's in the consent agenda.
Oh, it's a consent. All right, thank you. All right. Mr. Mullenberg?
Thank you. I want to let you know, first of all, I forgot to mention that we are interviewing on Monday for the middle school ELA position. So we have 4 interviews lined up for Monday so far. So hopefully, we should be bringing a candidate in July then. So the first day of school plan for this year, one of the things that I came up, when I first started here, I taught 5th grade for a year, and then I moved up to middle school. And I noticed that the transition for 5th to 6th grade, it seemed like it's just so different. From going from 1 or 2 teachers all day to having a mixture. So I started the 6th grade orientation, and I think we did a pretty good job with that. But I continue to recognize, at least in my mind, that more can be done to hopefully alleviate the stress on those. They're little, some of them coming in, and then you have seniors here, and it's just and I've just been seeing more and more anxiety with kids coming up. So I really wanted to do something to address that, to hopefully make them feel more comfortable. The first day of school, we give them a ton of information, but if they're sitting there worried about, man, who else is in the school? What's my locker combination? How much are they really taking in? So my plan for this year for 6th grade and 9th grade, they would be the only 2 grades in the school the first day. And I'll continue with the plans on that. But our 6th graders and our 9th graders would go through basically all of our PBIS things. 9th grade's a transition. It's not quite as much because it's the same school. However, it's high school for credit. And we've recognized lately that there's been some areas we can improve on that as well. But mainly our 6th graders, without having a bunch of other kids here and coming down and sitting in this cafeteria with 140 other students during lunch, being able to use their lockers, go through all their teachers all day long. The staff would be involved with all of them. Hopefully they'll take more of that in, so that first day when the rest of the students are here, we can relieve some of that apprehension. We won't get rid of it, but I just really feel like we can do a better job with that. And the staff and I have been working on a plan for what that day looks like. But it really is two different worlds when you come in here and look at our sixth grade, then you look at our seniors. You know, it's just so different. And I felt bad for them each year. I think I've told the story before, but my first day teaching middle school, there was two little sixth graders flicking Army men into the toilet. And then you have seniors coming in with, you know, full beards and, you know, 6'5". So really trying to bridge that. And sixth graders, a lot of them are a lot more like elementary students, especially at the beginning of the year, and getting them more acclimated and accustomed to their teachers, and hopefully they'll go ask questions and feel more comfortable doing that. So also with the ninth grade, what I'd like to do is what a lot of other schools do this as well. There's a link crew and we might get our eighth grade leadership kids involved with our sixth graders to do some mentoring with this. That's one of the plans that we have that actually Carrie Johnson and I are working on. But with our ninth graders, then on the day of the ACT, right now the seniors don't have to be here. Our sophomores take the practice. Our juniors can leave after they're done. We've just had our freshmen floundering. I've asked my colleagues, and they said that they give their ninth graders that day off so that we can have it quiet down there when the ACT is taken. So that first day, the ninth grade will be here. Then on ACT day, the plan is that they wouldn't have to be in school that day. We were doing the ACT at the old school, but there's just some issues with that as well. We like the natural setting down here. We can still use that one. But I just feel like we can do two things with that first day plan is help alleviate some stress from kids to make them more successful. I was reading a few studies and articles on that transition to sixth grade. If you do a good enough job, that usually will translate all the way through your school where you're at. There was some good stuff on that Carrie and I were sharing. And then our ACT day, we were up on our ACT scores this year, by the way. But anyway, I think it's embargoed to the public, so I can't really say a whole lot on that. So that's a plan there for the ACT day as well. And then also the last day, typically our seniors are not here that last week. As you know, though, we're getting done before Memorial Day. So my plan is to have them done May 16th, which would be the Thursday before the rest of the students are done, because Friday's a professional development day. It does two things. Lacrosse actually lets their seniors out 2 weeks early, and then they require anybody that hasn't met the requirements to come back. So we would have that week in there as well before graduation actually happens, if there are students that need community service or finish any assignments. We just had a student this last week, finished up an incomplete, so now that student was able to get their diploma. So it would actually give us that as well. They would have the exact same number of days as all of our seniors have had before. It's just that because graduation is the weekend after we're done, that would be the time we would release them. So, and they're ready at that time to go, by the way.
What is the first day of school again, Rick?
April or August 28th.
August 28th, okay.
Correct, David? So I'm going to send out to parents tomorrow that it'll be 6th and 9th grade on the 28th, or the elementary school will be there on the 28th. And
That
then
is on Monday.
It is Monday, the 28th of August.
Yeah.
Yeah, will be the first day.
And then the 29th, the rest of the middle high school students will come.
Yeah, and I would, Rick and I have been chatting about this a little bit, and as the year, 2 years have progressed, and we've got through ACT, and we talk about this transition, from elementary to middle to high, it's real. And when he came to me with this proposal, I said, yeah, I think we should move forward with it. Wanted you guys to be aware. If you have questions, you have concerns, I would definitely want you to voice them. But now that we've talked with you about it, we'll put it on the calendar and start to communicate that out to families.
And I knew we could do a better job, but also along with it, I'm going to have a meeting for sixth grade parents as well at night. We have that already scheduled. It's on the calendar so that I can have the staff here. We can go over what to expect as a child moves into middle school. And I think that's very important as well. We used to do an orientation with students and parents. Like I said, I thought we did a pretty nice job with that, but I think we can do a better job. And then also I'll have a meeting that same night for any new students and parents in the district, so that I'll meet with them for an hour as well and have staff here for that one. So, and actually, I had talked to Tina a little bit about, she has a student coming up for 6th grade, because she called me about a survey that went out, and she said, Rick, I just don't have any clue how this operates. And I said, you know what, we can do a better job with that. So that's why I want to have that parent night. I mean, I know some will already have had students here, but we can still communicate information straight to parents that night, and then get to know the staff a little bit more, and not have to, I shouldn't say worry about the students, but the students don't have to worry about anything that night. We could talk about our modes of communication, what's best, if they have concerns, who to contact, and all of those things. So I'm excited for that, because I know it's an area that we've recognized for a while we can improve upon, and I just think that it'll make it better for parents and students.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mullenberg.
Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you. David?
Yep. Sorry. Thank you. When we look at a couple things, I just wanted to update you. We look at our summer hours for district office. We have posted that we are closed on Friday, appointment only on Monday, and then open, Tuesday through Thursday. Have our hours listed there. There's multiple reasons for that. One, I've got a group of ladies in central office that all gave away vacation time last year, so we're trying to make sure that they take that time. It's usually on Mondays and Fridays what's happening there. And then there's some projects that need to be done where we need to be away from the buzzer a little bit on Mondays and the Fridays that we do have people here. We will absolutely schedule an appointment with anybody on any other days, but just wanted to let you guys know that in case somebody says something. We are still working on most of those days. And some of those days we're not. We're taking some vacation that we need, but that's just, we figured that was a better way to just plan it, and that way it wasn't a here and there, close today. That's the how it is all summer long. So we'll make sure there's always somebody there to buzz you in Tuesday through Thursday. If you need another time, email or call first, and we'll set up a time to meet with you. Phone service connection, we approved this last month, and the one piece that we were still working on, we obviously purchased all of the equipment. We knew what we're going to have to install, but was the actual connection to the internet to get a dial tone. And it's interesting, our main internet service that we have, because we use special funding for it, we can't actually have our phone on that internet connection. So we have to have a separate internet connection just for our phone. The good news is it's $150 a month, $160 a month or something for that connection, as opposed to about the $9,000 per month, or excuse me, about the $900 per month that we were paying last year. I apologize. So $159, so it's about $7,000 per the year for next year and every year thereafter, with the new phones in place, that we will not be spending on phone service for our phones. So we're pretty excited about that. That was just kind of an update on that purchase that we made last month that I wanted you guys to be aware of. There have been developments this week at the state level with some school funding for the next biennium budget. Starting to get some indications what that might look like, but I will tell you there are still more questions than answers. It's a lot of, well, we'll give you this, but you'll get this, and so there's some goods, but there's some not so goods as well. But we're trying to sort that out, and as soon as I get more clarity on that, I will keep you updated. I know WASBA does a great job of sending you guys emails as well. If you got any questions or hear anything you want me to help research for you or answer questions, let me know. I anticipate the July meeting will have a closed session probably at the end with some clarity from that, and we'll really get that compensation conversation started for next year. That would put us in a good place that we could actually hopefully approve them in August, and then teachers could start the new year on their new contract amount versus dealing with back pay later. We won't rush it, but obviously that's my hope, with some clarity starting to come to that budget. So those are some of the things on the plate right now. Any other questions for me? Otherwise, that's my report.
Any questions for David? All right, removal of items from the consent agenda. Consent agenda tonight includes current openings, summer school staff appointments, which Mr. Johnson reviewed, our 23-24 middle school, high school coaching assignments. There is documents in your packet about that. The WIAA membership agreement for next year, there's a copy of that in your packet as well. And then amend the purchase of the interactive displays, and that is on page 29 in your packet as well. Any questions about anything?
If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Joni to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right. No open or no closed session. I will ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Lori, seconded by Joni to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.